The Predator Eye is an interesting eye ability within Blue Lock that can be difficult to pin down in terms of unlocking this ability and applying it correctly. This difficulty stems from Metavision operating within the same structural setup to achieve these special eyes. First, you must entrance yourself in your ego, enter the flow, and pursue the choice your opponent cannot see. That is what sparks an awakening to both of these abilities. However, to define Predator Eye's identity, there are some key differences to take note of. First is the player's mindset, more specifically a fixation they have in mind. Second is their physical capabilities, and third is pressure from comparable opponents. By noting these three qualifications, a picture can be formed as to what Predator Eye is meant to represent. It is the peak of egotistical play. To start, let's talk about Metavision. This ability can be readily accessed by talented learners, players who may have a few good weapons on their side but are forced to adapt to the constant state of the field. The focus of Metavision is the most logical play. It's up to the user to exploit breakpoints in the field's flow to assert themselves. Foresight, planning, player specs, all are factors into their logic so they can survive and thrive against their opposition. Opposing this philosophy is Predator Eye's philosophy, which is born from a player's intense focus on a singular target, a temporary boost ability, and can be accessed by virtually anyone. These factors make Metavision and Predator Eye two sides of the same coin. No better is this point noted than by Kaiser's usage of both, but his two big performances with Predator Eye are great examples of one of its triggers, which he shares with Baro. In all four scenarios where these two scored their goals, they focused on taking advantage of virtually impossible to exploit weaknesses in their opponent's defense to get their goal chances. Kaiser talks about a peephole against Manshine before threading the needle, and he does the same with his Kaiser impact bounding shot against the Ubers. What made these shots possible were two things: physical ability and comparable opponents. While Manshine didn't necessarily have somebody that could keep Kaiser in a box in a one-on-one, grouping up against him would normally produce a sound enough opposition to stop any normal striker. But this is where Kaiser's mindset factors in quite well. Kaiser's character philosophy is focused on doing the impossible, so creating a weakness in the nigh impassable defense like Manshine's in this panel fit his character perfectly. He wouldn't stop until he pushed through that wall. There's also a distinct time limit. Here it seems he uses Metavision and Predator Eye in one go, switching off seamlessly. He finds the most optimal positioning with Metavision and then hyperfixates with Predator Eye on the goal to score. Predator Eye has a heavy emphasis on specific timing and shot opportunity. The Ubers match doubles down on this idea as he was able to defeat a defense because he saw where he wanted to shoot and how to leverage it, regardless of the defenses in front of him. By understanding these two plays, it creates a last-minute golden formula for Kaiser and begins to outline something extremely important. Metavision is the roadmap, while Predator Eye is the key to the treasure at the end of that roadmap. In comparison, Isagi uses his Metavision for both ends to varying degrees of success. Fortunately, he wasn't alone in this because Baro had the opposite situation going on. In the Ubers match, Baro shot from a blind spot in Gagamaru's thinking and perception, creating an impossible to predict shot course from a first experience. However, his golden formula begins to deteriorate in effectiveness because of his over-reliance on Predator Eye while doing it. There's two reasons his attacks were not successful. One is a repetitive thought process, and the other is the limiting effect of Predator Eye. Tunnel vision. Nico suffered from this in the same game because he was fixated on Isagi's movements while processing one part of the field. He forgot about other players who could slow him down. This is a result of inexperience and very similar to Baro, who forgot about anyone being able to stop his goals. He was so focused on the goal and his routes to get there, he couldn't score off of several opportunities. Despite Snuffy's plans limiting his scoring potential, he recognizes his mistake later on while following one of his designs and realizes he can't follow it anymore. The Predator Eye cannot be used on a whim. Again, it requires timing and a mindset to make a shot opportunity work, which Baro's quadruple nutmeg shot had in spades. He saw through everyone's defenses to create his chance, all the while convincing Snuffy into agreeing to his goal on his terms. To be clear, that last part is not an effective Predator Eye, however, it is a part of who can and cannot unlock this ability. Which leads me to my next point. Hyperfixation is key to using this ability. Rin's focus on destroying Isagi and Kaiser's connection, then there's Boru's focus on scoring goals by overcoming any barrier, a demonstration that he is the king. Yukimiya wanted to assert himself faster than Isagi could adapt. Kaiser was fixated on proving his existence with every single goal. Another element to this ability includes one's physical ability to create the situation they want. Rin's natural ability allows him to turn around almost any game he plays in. Boru's chop dribble and strong shooting leg guide him to the same. Similarly, Kaiser has the fastest shooting leg in the series. Each of these players are physically capable of doing what they set out to do on their own because they have something to prove deep within themselves. People like Isagi, Hiyori, or Nico do have strong egos. That is undeniable, but they lack the same level of fixation and desire for the impossible as these three do. Moreover, they lack the physicality to make it so. They have exceptionally strong weapons, but these other three are extremely fixated on creating any situation they want because their body allows for it. Where Hiyori, Isagi, and Nico adapt to the current situation, Boru, Rin, and Kaiser are the causes of those adaptations even coming online. It's a minute difference, but a difference nonetheless. For someone like Isagi who dropped all obsessions or fixations to become a purely objective player, it's almost impossible for him to unlock this ability. What's more is his inability to tap into it when he was getting pressed by Kaiser and Rin at the same time. So what happened here and what's the difference? Well, it comes down to how he devises his weapon. He found his answer in the abilities he already possessed, whereas Boru, Kaiser, and Rin knew what they wanted to do and decided to make that happen. This is why Kaiser is one of the only talented learners to gain Predator Eye. He has an understanding of balancing both ideas within his playstyle to transcend his baser self. The Kaiser Impact Magnus is the perfect example of this, thanks to relying on luck to line up such a mind-boggling shot. All of this is thanks to his physicality, which places him in the realm of geniuses damn near. He performs the impossible just like they do in several different games. He's able to utilize both ways of using his body and eyes to excel in solo play against team play. He and Rin are the only two to seemingly master the ability, as they used it in short bursts, with it failing them once, maybe twice in all of their activations of it. The Predator Eye is a form of field vision that draws those capable of tapping into their deepest fixations, their physicals, and challenging comparable opponents to execute their goals. Whether it be a pass or a shot attempt, the Predator Eye pushes its user to achieve some of Blue Lock's most incredible plays. The downside of tunnel vision offers a weakness for this ability. If the user's focus is too narrow, it makes them lose out to Metavision users who are constantly surveying the field all the time, but also beat them when they're aware enough to pull off a clutch play. Predator Eye was a necessary inclusion to Blue Lock because it's an ability that embodies the apex of a mastered ego. Through being able to understand oneself, their abilities, and potential so thoroughly, they can weaponize it to make the impossible possible. It's not just limited to the pieces being found or having a golden formula. Predator Eye is the height of hubris, which can be as helpful or as detrimental to one's performance depending on how well one is able to understand its effects and utility. Honestly, it may just be the most balanced ability in the story. Granted, you only have like 2 to pick from, but that's besides the point. Unfortunately, this is also where I have to end the video for you all today. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please stay safe out there and have yourselves a damn good one. I'll see you all next time.